Assalamualaikum to our lecturer, Professor Dr. Ayub. We are from Group 7E. We'll present on our answer of the case study King Jewel's Ethical Leadership in Practice. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Aina Adiba binti Zulisa, metric number 265011. Now I will present the first question. The question is, if you were Waiman, what action would you take and what could she have done to prevent the incident from happening? If I were Waiman, I would set aside my family ties in a fraud case like this because this involved my career and credibility as a chartered accountant as well as a financial manager of a large company like King Jewels. Moreover, an accountant plays an important role in helping the company to protect, prevent, detect and report any unusual accounting behavior that occur. So as a finance manager and chartered accountant who have earlier access towards company expenses and transaction, I should be trustworthy in carrying out duties to my company and should continue to report promptly if there are any unusual actions in the financial statements. Our knowledge of finance and accounting equips us with the ability to spot fraud at an early stage. If I choose to not report on the evidence that I have discovered, at the end of the day, King Jewels will hire investigators and all the parties that involved will be exposed. It will harm my reputation, and Hong Kong Institute of Certified Public Accountant (HKCIPA) may revoke my accountant certificate because I was directly involved in concealing evidence of fraud done by my brother. Hence, my decision was right to report on the malpractice that are being done by Clement Tam, and I also need to provide reasons on why this fraud can occur for a long period of time without anyone notice. Okay, how to prevent the incident from happening? The step includes creating a positive workplace environment. As a finance manager, Waiman can create a good corporate code of conduct and an open door policy in her department. This policy allows Waiman to become aware of her subordinates, problems and concerns in the workplace. Her employees must have known about her family relationship with Clement Tam, and therefore they are afraid to whistleblow on any unusual transaction that happens in King Jewels. So Waiman needs to clarify to her employees that her work as a manager does not involve her personal life. She needs to specify that any whistleblowers that report wrongdoings are acceptable and their identity will be kept secret to protect their privacy. This code of ethics will make employees realize and understand what is and what is not appropriate in the workplace. In addition, as an accountant, Waiman should advise the management from the beginning to implement a good system of internal controls. There are two types of control activities, including preventive controls and detective control. For preventive control, in a large company like King Jewels, there should not be a problem to incur an additional cost in segregation of duties. Clement Tam stated to Waiman that he as an operation director is making sure to maximize the company growth by next year in order to increase the management bonus. So this may be the main reason on why he purchased substandard gemstones so that the company can sell low quality diamonds at a premium price. Thus, Waiman should have advised the CEO, Andy Wong, to split the task because of the risk of dishonest transaction that may occur with the supplier. And finally, for detective control, as a finance manager, Waiman should suggest to the board of directors to have a proper documentation system in recording goods of purchase. The company must have a solid document and record management system that can give an audit trail that can be followed to check for any unusual or suspicious activities and document transactions. These detective controls can prevent such activities like failing to disclose correct quality of diamonds purchased and unreasonable access given by Clement Tam about the misplaced business documents that show the receipts of purchase from suppliers. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tan Siwan, number matric 21650. I will continue to present question 2. Firstly, on the professional aspect, if Waiman were to borrow the visitor, what will happen to her? On the professional aspect, It showed that Wan Mai had fulfilled her responsibilities as a chartered accountant and finance manager of the company if she were to borrow the visitor. As a certified public accountant, Wan Mai has complied with the Code of Professional Ethics that members should act in an honest manner with integrity when fulfilling their responsibilities to protect the public, the interests of their clients and employers. It shows that Wan Mai is a professional accountant when she is willing to report this incident even if it will influence the relationship with her brother. As a financial manager of the company, Wan Mai is responsible for handling and supervising the company's financial report and to make sure that the company did not involve any financial fraud. Wan Mai also has fulfilled her responsibility as a financial manager if she brought the visitor. Wan Mai has shown her professionalism in the workplace to avoid any misconduct or wrongdoing that will destroy the company's reputation. Next, on the personal level, if Wan Mai were to borrow the visitor, what will happen to her? Let us see. Based on a personal level, the relationship between Wan Mai and her brother and her uncle, who involved in this incident, will be broken if she were to borrow the visitor. Furthermore, Wan Mai family may see her as a selfish person that just takes care of her professional job and ignores the family relationship. Besides, the people around the Wan Mai also think that she is a cool-blooded person who seems to feel no emotion. Therefore, Wan Mai will withstand extreme pressure if she were to borrow the visitor, which is related to her brother and her uncle. This incident also will cause the Wan Mai family to no longer be harmonious. So, how will this incident change the mindset and behavior of employees with regard to committing and reporting fraud? It will start to affect the mindset and behavior of employees if one of the employees of the company who were brave and being the first person to borrow the visitor, then the other employee will not be afraid to report any unethical business, including management fraud. It is because they know that it will not jeopardize their job stability like Wan Mai. Besides that, the employees will not commit any fraud if they know that the crime will one day be uncovered by others. According to the fraud triangle, one of the elements which is rationalization. Therefore, the employee will recognize that their misconduct is unethical behaviors and they will not commit the fraud. However, the organization should have a whistleblower policy that outlines the whistleblower procedure to follow if an employee suspects wrongdoing. Besides, the employees need the legal protection to protect them from whistleblowing. In Malaysia, we have the Whistleblower Protection Act 2010. To conclude, the employees will continue to follow Wan Mai's action to blow the whistle if there are legal protection to protect them from whistleblowing. Okay, that is all my part. Thank you.
Hello and good day to Doctor and everyone. I'm Ilavalagi Madhuriviran, metric number 264435. I will continue the presentation on question 3. The question 3 is, had the CEO been alerted to all the facts, what action should he have taken? What would be the implications of his actions on his respective professional and personal relationship with Wyman, Ho, Ming and Tam, other staff at King Jewels and King Jewels suppliers and customers? The first action that should be taken by the CEO is to make investigation of all the parties involved in the fraud, especially Tam and Ho, who was directly involved in the fraud, while Wyman and Ming, who was aware of the fraud but did not report to Wong earlier about the fraud. The CEO could also take further action by make a police report or lodge a court case to claim compensation from the fraudster and fire them from the job. The implication of the CEO's actions on his professional and personal relationship with Wyman, Ho, Ming and Tam will be badly affected. So the second action that should be taken by the CEO is to change the company's corporate culture. The CEO should replace the current corporate culture with a new corporate culture in which the lower level employees and top management work together to achieve the objective of the company. The implication of the action on the relationship between the staff and the CEO is it will increase the communication between employee and top management and boost the internal efficiency, as well as make a good relationship between the staff of King Jewels and the CEO. The third action that can be taken by the CEO is to file a lawsuit against the suppliers to ask for compensation for the loss backed by the company. The implication of the CEO's action on the suppliers might be that the two suppliers' business volumes could hit the rock bottom because when they started supplying gemstones to King Jewels, their business volume grew tremendously during that period. As for the implication of the CEO's action to customers, the customers might lose their trust in King Jewels, and also the customers might file lawsuits against King Jewels as they claim to sell high quality diamonds, but it was actually diamonds with poorer color and clarity at a premium price. That's all. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Aziza binti Idris. My matric number 264597. So I will continue to answer question 4. The question is, internal control is a part of the management control system. What internal control mechanism could have been put in the place to prevent this incident from happening? So the answer is, firstly, we need to know what is internal control. Internal control is referred to the mechanism that company use to manage risk and reduce the probability of fraud. Internal control divide into two types, which is preventive control and detective control. In this question, we will discuss about preventive control. Firstly, the preventive control that can be used is segregation of duties, which is a critical idea in establishing internal control over the company's asset. This control ensure that there is surveillance and monitoring to catch the violation, as well as to assist the prevent fraud or theft, since the concealing the transaction need two or more person to communicate. Segregation of duty is either when the three major functions are separate and performed by different employees. For example, in this case, all duties such as granting custody of asset, authorization, asset usage, and managing asset record are exclusively assigned to the claimant. He has mandatory ambush the authority to do anything as he did. So should be when we do segregation of duty, we will separate all three process, and which is primary process for the company. Next one, King Jewels can provide internal control by requiring system authorization prior to asset use or transaction execution. System authorization are obtained via the use of the certification and accreditation procedure performed by a person trust appointed by the firm in charge. Certification and accreditation are formal written agreement that suitable security safeguards are in place for the system prior to the operation. Invalid transaction can be avoided by proper authorization practice. Concern for the various transaction is essential control to help ensure that all corporate activity adhere to the defined norms and objective, as well as to avoid fraud. Specific personnel are required to authorize certain source of transaction in order to establish internal control that activity has been examined, reviewed, and approved by the authorities before it can be executed or paid for. For example, in this case, there is acquisition of batch of the gemstone of the poorer color grade and clarity, but it was paid with a premium price and felt that transaction was done by Clementine. This may be proven if Clementine obtained permission from the person in authority before making a purchase. So next one is organization may use physical safeguard for internal control objective. This activity are physical action rule and procedure designed to protected organization buildings electronic information system against natural and environmental risks as well as unlawful inflation. Physical security standard involve facility access control, workplace safely, and workplace violence prevention. In this instance, it was discovered that King Jawas lacked physical safeguard for the safekeeping of the company asset. This was discovered when Clementine made a hasty purchase for the from surrogates and devised them without consulting anyone at all. If it has extra security, it will verify before being placed in a store before making the interest of product. Fraud like this will be avoided from happening again. Next, before making people permanent employee of the organization, King Jewels must perform employee screening and training. These controls are critical in preventing fraud and abnormalities from occurring again. A background check on the employee is necessary to ensure that the employee has not a negative experience with the firm for which he or she worked before. So the next element is a training for employee, which is on excellent employee ethic in order to prevent unethical behavior on the part of workers. We are able to teach staff so that they know how to report unethical behavior through this training. In this case, for example, it is asserted that a subordinate employee of King Jewels was bribed to cover up misconduct perpetrated by employee corporate personnel. They were aware of the others' employee non-compliance, but they chose to remain silent. The employee who receives sufficient training will be knowledgeable in making decisions and taking action in this situation, such as in this incident. Last one is King Jewels must verify that company computer that keep firm purchases data such as bill of lading, shipment report, and payment receipt are password protected and have access control in place. This is missing. In this case, there is missing bill of the lading of shipment record at King Jewels since there are no security mechanism such as password on the computer. This become known when Wyman sought a review if the computer that hold all the data is protected by password that only Wyman and trusted worker know. As a result, the loss of this data can be avoided. Despite the loss, we will be able to identify who did it because only the individual in charge will have the access to the computer. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Nur Afifa Asmadi, metric number 264835. I will explain for the answer for question 5. The question is, apart from problems with Tam and Hu's professional behavior, identify and discuss any structural and cultural issue contributing to the situation. For structural issue, first issue is position held by Tam and Hu. Tam held position as the right-hand man for the company, so he took advantage on the responsibility given by the CEO of King Jewels, who is Andy Wong, and he also wanted to gain benefit from it. Hu held position as head of operation in King Jewels, so he took the opportunity by directing his staff to operate under his fraudulent instructions, since the operation will not proceed with his order and approval. So we can see that Tam and Hu commit fraud due to the position that they held in the company. The second issue is relationship with staff. where Tam is a brother for the accountant of King Jewels, who is Maiwan. So he feels safe from interrogation because his sister will try to not blame his own brother. The last issue is who have more experience since he is a veteran in the operation. It made him commit fraud because his staff follow his fraudulent instructions since they trust on their leader who is who and they can't say anything to the upper management. For cultural issue, the first issue is motivation, which is Tam and Hu are lack on ethics. This is because they have already been involved in this fraud for more than 2 years. They intend to do fraud more and more because no one notice of their activities. If they have sense that commit fraud is an unethical action, they will surrender and be honest to the management. The second issue is influence from connected people, where Tam being influenced by his own uncle, Peter Tam, who involved in accessing gambling. Actually, gambling can motivate someone to commit fraud because they are triggered to get more money and be greedy. The next issue is on financial pressure. Since Ho hold the lower position, it make his salary will be the lower than other staff. So he want to get more money and income without the staff knowledge. Because of that, he commit fraud. The last issue is rationalization, where Hu thinks it is okay to commit fraud since he conspired with Tam and make him innocent just because he did just what was told for the operation and then he take advantage on it. That's all from us. Thank you.